Nominated in the Best Rap Video category tonight for his big hit New Jack Hustler is one of the hardest of the hardcore rappers, Ice-T. He's a man with something to say, and here he is to say it.
This is it. Go from the fly kid.
He was born Tracy Marrow, but to rap fans and moviegoers these days, he's just plain Ice-T, one of the hardest of the hardcore rappers. Originally from New Jersey, Ice was farmed out to Los Angeles at an early age. There, he began hanging out with hustlers on the gang-ridden streets of South Central L.A., and before long was making a living as a small-time thief. By chance, he was offered a part in the 1984 movie Breakin', and by 1987, he'd released his first album, Rhyme Pays. Dennis Hopper heard about Ice and hired him to write the theme song for his gang war movie Colors. That song, with its corrosive depiction of life and death on the mean ghetto streets of Los Angeles, made Ice-T a star. The messages in his music are aimed at street kids, and they're delivered with a sometimes scary edge to which those kids can relate. Ice himself continues to broaden his horizons as an actor in the surprise hit film New Jack City and as a thrash band leader with his new group Body Count. He was a major attraction on this year's Lollapalooza tour, and given his versatility and his limitless ambition, he seems likely to be with us for years to come. Do you remember much about your childhood when you were growing up in New York?
Well, I was born in Newark, New Jersey, but I lived in a little suburb called Summit, New Jersey, which is like I might have been the only black kid in the town. As far as I'm concerned, it was like a real small, I think my street was like one of the only black streets. Yeah. And it was a nice, tight environment. My mother passed when I was in the 3rd grade, and I lived with my father, and he would move around to East Orange, and sometimes he would stay in New York. But I was kind of non-employed back in the days. I don't really recollect too much about living out here. I moved to Los Angeles when I was like in the 7th grade. Yeah. So I really didn't run the streets too much. I remember the snow. I remember playing, you know.
Your father has been killed? Is that
what happened? When I was in the 7th grade. He just showed up dead. And I didn't investigate it because I was in the 7th grade. Yeah. Don't ask me questions. And I went to L.A. to live with an aunt who really didn't want me. It was kind of like something that might have been in the will or something. But she had already raised her 2 sons, so it was like, here's another kid. And I was just like rowdy, you know. She had these things called rules and regulations that I didn't understand. And I tried to really battle down, like, all right, I'm gonna do the right thing, I'm gonna chill. But I was real frustrated. Now, she had a son who was my cousin, who was like, he was like, really like, always on drugs and stuff. Like, you know, he would experiment with acid and stuff. And he was the one who turned me on, like, to rock and roll. He's listening to rock, like Traffic and all these different groups. He's T-Rex and all this stuff up in the house. He thought he was Jimi Hendrix. So one time I was just sitting in the room crazy mad, and he was like, why don't you just do what you want to do? I'm like, I want to go to the party. She said, don't. He said, what's she going to do to you? She's going to kill you? Just go. And I was like, just go, huh? He said, just go. You know, he said, basically, you know, blank them, you know, do what you want to do. So I just started hanging out late, and I would come in, and then you turn into one of those kids that they say, we can't do anything with them.
Incorrigible.
Yeah, because I realized they couldn't kill me, you know, and they would tell me to stay in the room, and I would just leave. And when I found out that they really couldn't control me, you know, I started getting kind of crazy, and I got, you know, didn't really get in trouble, though.
Were you ever attracted to drugs at all at that period, or was it not that kind of thing at the time?
Well, no, I never got involved. I don't drink, smoke, or get high at all because no one could ever tell me any benefit to it. Yeah. I never started smoking cigarettes, and I would always say, well, get high, Ice. I'm like, give me a benefit. Tell me what it'll do for me. They like, well, you feel good. You know, I feel great. You get girls, I get girls. You know, so I couldn't find a benefit to it. If you show me a benefit, I'll do something, but no one could tell me a benefit.
Yeah. When did you first become aware of rap? I mean, what was the first thing you heard? Was there ever a point where you heard stuff coming out of New York and you realized this was becoming a musical form?
Okay, the musical form happened when I was in the Army. I was in the Army. I did 4 years in the Army, and I was buying a lot of DJ equipment because everybody in service buys stereo equipment. Right. That's all they sell to PX. So I heard this record called Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang. I'm like, oh, I said, I can do this. You know, I can do this. So it had an instrumental on the other side, and I was trying to rap over the beat. That's when I first tried to do it to music.
Did you think it was like an uphill battle coming from L.A. and trying to do this thing? And was there a...
Well, I didn't think you would ever get no money out of it. I didn't think it was something you could get money out of. I just thought it was something to do. And I wanted to be able to do it when I got home. So when I came home, my homeboys was like, they were rolling. You know, when I left, everybody was like just small time. When I got home, they picked me up in Mercedes. They were like, yo, this is what's up, Ike. You know what I'm saying? We work at these credit cards. We rob these jewelry stores, you know? This is where it's real. So I was like, well, damn.
What kind of robbing jewelry stores is this? Like just go in and rob them, or is it like, was there more style to it than that?
It was great style because we got away most of the time, you know. So going away to rob a jewelry store, you have what's called a snatch and run, where you walk in and say, can I see that by this light, that light, daylight, and you out of there. There's ones where I could walk into most jewelry stores and be all the way behind the counter.
Really?
Just walking in, act like you know. Just walk in and have it damn near out of the case before. And you get a getaway sometimes, but then other times he would just walk in, pull guns, make everybody lay down, jump up on the cases with sledgehammers and take the jewelry.
Did you ever get any bad situations?
I got my hands cut up from it. 7 years ago, so I got a statute of limitation cushion. I can talk about this. But a lot of my boys are doing time all over the United States for it.
How did you come to be involved in New Jack City? They just call you up out of nowhere and say, hey, we want you to play a cop?
Man. No, what happened was I was out of this club and I was with these chicks, right? So I had all these like fly girls around me, you know what I'm saying? Ice-T style. I'm like with all these chicks. So Mario, them people sees me. So I thought he was squeezing the girls. I'm like, yeah, he's trying to get with the girls. So Ice, I want you to be in a movie. I'm like, yeah, right, this is Leslie, you know. So after he did that, he said, yo, I'm serious, I want you to be in this movie. I'm like, cool, whatever, call me. So he called me. So they said, come up to Warner Brothers, we want you to check out this part. We wrote it for you. Right. So they said, we want you to play this part. It's a gangster movie. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm like, a lot of shooting? Mm-hmm. Money? Yeah. I get to dress fly? Yeah. I'm who? You're a cop. Huh? A cop? What y'all trying to do to me, man? I hate the police. If you lost your mind. So I went through a lot of soul searching and a lot of discussions with my homeboys. I talked to my boys in jail. None of them told me don't do it. None of them said don't do it. Girls told me, they said, I talked to lots of women. I mean, I respect women's opinions. And they like, I do not hold your ideals so high that you miss this opportunity. A lot of brothers in the streets would love to act. You're showing them that you can take this one step further. So what, you was a hustler, now you're a rapper. That's nothing. Be an actor. Own a Fortune 500 company. Move on so you can show these little brothers and sisters that watch you that there's no level to it.
You ever devote any thought to what can be done about the situation in places like South Central? I mean, can anything be done at this late date?
Escape. Escape from the killing field.
Which means always somebody has to be left behind, though, right?
I say leave the ghettos a barren wasteland. Nobody lives in the ghetto by choice. Nobody lives in the Bronx because they want to. You live there because your mother lived there. She lived there because her mother lived there. And they were poor. They're not black communities. They're poor communities. Economics is why you stay there. But in the ghetto, they have a real stupid mentality that says, yo, if you leave Brooklyn, you selling out. It's the stupidest thing in the world. You know, it's like you're not supposed to want to go jet skiing or go to the snow. You're supposed to want to stay on your corner and wash your car and just wait on the police to put that bullet in your head.
Is aid any kind of an answer? I mean, if you put money at this thing, do you think that...
Aid is not the reason, it's school. I mean, if you're going to give any aid, give it to education. I mean, why the teachers aren't getting paid as much as the police, I'll never know. You know, I think a teacher should be one of the highest paid people in the world. You know, they should be getting paid like doctors. That would make more people want to teach. But a teacher's making $20,000 a year. You know, I spend that on shoelaces, man.
You had mentioned earlier, we were talking this interesting connection between sort of rap and country and Western music. I wonder if you could maybe...
Rap is identical to country Western music as far as I'm concerned. Because country and Western people rap about their neighborhood. They wear jeans and hats to the Grammys. They don't really care if you don't like what they're singing about. They sell millions of records and nobody knows who bought them. You know, they're singing to their neighborhood. The same way we sang in our urban neighborhood about our life. You know, I mean, Johnny Cash got a lyric, I shot a man in Rio just to watch him die. That sounds like Bushwick Bill from the Ghetto Boys would say something like that. You know, if I said I shot somebody just to watch him die, woo, you know, I would be on this TV show. I'm like, crazy. But I think of country music. I find a definite connection with country. Rap and country, you know, they live in the country, we live in the city.
Different beats, I think we can say.
No, some of them rap. Johnny Cash ain't sung a note since I known him. He just rap, you know. So it's the same thing, you know. I mean, why do people want to separate music?
Right.
Why? You know, well, this is country, and this is R&B, and this is gospel, and this music as far as
Was Body Count, were the guys in Body Count, your band, already into this metal thing when you came upon them, or did you?
Yeah. Well, Body Count, you know, they could play funk, but they listen a lot to metal. I mean, Ernie is like a Steve Vai fanatic, you know. He's like the man, you know. So he's like off into him, and I always listen to the aggressive rock and roll. So they've been playing that, and we would play, but they would always fight with me like, man, come on, let's do a metal record. Let's do a full metal record. I'm like, nah, because if I'm doing rap, I'm not into creating any, you know, genetic engineering with music. I'm just doing what I do. It's rap. So I said, let's make another group. Because one of my biggest role models is George Clinton. And he even had 10 groups going at one time. So I'm like, let's do another group. Let's call it Body Count. The reason we call it Body Count is, one, on Friday nights, the news in L.A. comes on and says, 15 people killed in gang homicides, now sports.
Right.
So really all I am is a statistic, a body, really, until when they get me. Body count 2 is how many people we can kill in the pit.
The parents of America will be reassured to hear about this fine new group, I'm sure.
I ain't worrying about nobody's parents. I mean, if the parents are cool, if a parent is cool, and they're teaching their kid about racism and the right thing, cool, I love them. If the parent is bad and he doesn't like things and they're trying to ruin their kid's life, kill your parents, you know? I mean, they're worthless trash. They've ruined their life, and now they're trying to ruin yours. So I don't have no love for parents that want to poison their kids' lives, too.
Yeah. You religious at all? I mean,
Yeah, my religion is do the right thing, and the right thing will happen to you.